happy, and hopeful morning to you. I've come with a lot of hope that we will be able to interact and build up this thing called hope, which can do wonders to your quality of life. Regardless of whether things are going good or bad, regardless of whether you are having a nice time or a tough time, regardless of whether you are rich or poor, healthy or sick, somewhere along the line, that old proverb you heard, no? The light at the end of the tunnel. You're going through a very dark tunnel and everything seems to be totally black. But if you peer straight through and far away, you see a light, which means that that is the end of the tunnel and you are going to be in the bright sunshine again. That is enough for a person to keep walking through that tunnel. In fact, it did happen that a counselee of mine long back, uh, he came from a small town and he had some properties and this and that. You know, those how it happens that property disputes, joint families, and extended families, all that happened. Anyway, at one point, he managed to sell off some properties, make some money, come to the big city, and he started a business and he was doing very well. He had his wife and children, he had his home, and he had everything going here. Now and then he used to go back to his hometown, partly to just visit, but more than that, because there was a lot of litigation going on. You know, properties, this one claiming that one, doing this, someone filing a case in court, and that was going on. So he had to, you know, whether he liked it or not, they used to put his name in those court cases. So he had to keep going back there, appearing before the court when needed, and then paying to the lawyer and all that, and coming back. And then again, for weeks together, nothing would happen till the next court hearing, and he had to go. It went on for years. But at one point, his lawyer told him something has taken a wrong turn. And there are certain allegations against you, which are not only to, you know, claim the property, but also accusing you of criminal acts, which means that if they manage to prove it against you, you go to jail. This man was quite disturbed. But then the lawyer said, okay, we'll fight it this way, we'll fight it that way. It went on again for some time. After that, one fine day, his lawyer said that this such and such date, the judge is going to pronounce the judgment. And I have done my best, but you know, it's very unpredictable. And this particular judge is a very strict man, and he has this habit of sentencing people. So one can never say. One is that there is a non-bailable warrant. You have to be there on that particular date. Second is, in case the judge gives a negative judgment, straight away from the court, you will go to jail. Imagine what a harrowing time he was going through. Anyway, he had no choice. He booked his ticket. It was an overnight journey to his hometown. Got into the train, but he couldn't sleep. He was tossing, turning on his berth. Till late in the night, he got restless. He got up and came. It was peak summer. He came out and opened the door and stood there. For a minute, he got some nice cool breeze. But when he looked out, he saw nothing but blackness. There was no moon, there were no stars, there were no lights. It was one of those rural areas, the train was going through where there was no electricity, no lighting. And all 180 degrees that he looked from left to right, it was pitch dark. And the thought started coming to him that this is what my life has become. It has become pitch dark. I am heading towards a situation where I am likely to be jailed. My whole career, my respect, my family, everything will come crashing down if tomorrow I'm sentenced. As these thoughts coming, he stood there holding, you have those railings on the train entrance. So he was holding on to that and he was standing. And he told me, at one point, it struck me, if I just let go of these railings, I will fall down and die. And that will be the end of the story. I won't have to face all this insults and this and humiliation or jail or whatever. And he said, I don't know how long I stood there, just gathering up the courage that I must let go and I must fall down and bring an end to my life. He said, I lost all track of time. I was just standing there, just ready to let go. Would have taken him 2 seconds to let go of his hands, and he would have, flown out into the air and down into the darkness. He said, as I kept standing there and looking straight ahead, suddenly I saw one orange line on the horizon. And I started wondering, what is this thin orange line? I kept staring at it, he said, till he realized that the sun's rays are coming. And that orange line became a thicker line, became much thicker, started spreading that light all over. The sky was now visible, and before he knew it, he saw the sun rising. And his whole demeanor, his whole thinking changed. He said, after the darkest of nights, there can be a sunrise. He closed the door, came back, slept for an hour or two till the train reached his hometown, went to the court, and got acquitted. The case was over. He had won the case. It was such a touching incident to see how, that little spark of hope can make so much difference to a person's life. And that is what I am discussing with you all today. I'll also give you another example. I've been working for years and years with people who become suicidal, who don't want to live. One of the things that struck me was, when a person finds that there is no hope left in this world, I'm not going to improve my quality of life, nothing will improve. That's the time when a person is likely to start getting suicidal thoughts, right? I had occasion to work with people afflicted with what is known as Hansen's disease. You all know it by the common word leprosy. There was this group of people suffering from leprosy, Hansen's disease, who wanted to do something. They were living outside the city in a small sort of ghetto or a colony of their own, and they wanted to rehabilitate themselves, build something, get some better source of income and all that. So I had done my little bit, whatever I could do. But one thing that struck me, why I'm mentioning this is, can you imagine a situation worse than being afflicted by leprosy? Your face shows because your nose gets affected, your fingers get affected. So one look at you from a distance and people say this is, in inverted commas, a leper. There cannot be a more derogatory, title than that. Then your wife and children may leave you and go away because they're so scared of this disease. You will lose your job. Your landlord will throw you out of the house. And finally, even if you have some money in your pocket and you go to a restaurant and say, please serve me food, that fellow will throw you out. He'll say, all my customers will walk off if they see you over here. I'm sorry, don't come anywhere near the restaurant. Now, can you imagine a situation worse than that? So I would have thought that the suicide rate among such people should be very high, right? No. I was amazed to see that they had accepted that this is our fate in life. People will not accept us, our family members will not accept us. We are going to have a lot of financial difficulties. But you know what they had done, that particular group or community? Made a deity, a goddess of their own, who was completely different from all the goddesses. They made a tiny little temple and a goddess who looked completely different. And they said, this is our exclusive goddess. She caters only to us. And she reassures us that I have something good lined up for you. She gives us hope. And can you imagine those people? Like, I've gone there at times, I've spent some evenings with them. They're laughing, joking, singing at the end of a horrible and a tiring day, singing, songs and prayer to that exclusive goddess. I forget the name, they had given a particular name to that goddess. Now, this is what I wanted to share with you, that hope can override almost everything. And let's look at the very interesting and funny situation. As children, all of us have hope. You see, any child, barring, of course, a child who has been very badly abused or has been put down very badly, vast majority of the children have great hopes. When I grow up, I will be doing this. When I want this, I will do that. I will have this fairy tale. I will have this wonderful life. I will do this. I will do that. I have this great ambition. Everything of children is based on hope. Even the poorest of child, even the child who is not studying well, even the child who is not keeping good health, they all have this great hope which they live on. And if you see their hopes, they are so, simple. They are so fantasy oriented that even if they don't get it, it really doesn't make a difference. They enjoy that fantasizing, their imagination. But unfortunately, as we grow up, we lose that. I've always been touched by maybe 50, 60-year-old Bollywood song, which talks about the little, small, tiny hopes in the tiny heart of a childlike person. You will recall this movie clip and this song. Remember? But how many of us lead that type of life? When we grow up as adults, when we think of such things, what that heroine was doing in the movie, we actually ridicule it and say, don't be so childish. But only if you are childlike, you can build up hope. If you are taking yourself too seriously, you can never have a positive outlook, a positive mental attitude, an optimistic viewpoint towards life. And that is what prevents us from moving on. So many times I have seen that each one of us, if we want to, we can transform ourselves. It's never too late, whether you're 20 years old or 90 years old, it doesn't make a difference. You can actually bring yourself to, start building up that little uh, hope. How do we do that? I've collated a few simple points about what exactly is a hopeful person. See how many of these are applicable to you, how many of these you practice. You yourself will get an idea about whether you are a hopeful person. And remember, it is hope that keeps you going. So here you are. A hopeful person is one who is happy and grateful for the life they have, but always looking to make improvements. On the one side, I'm happy with what I have. If I don't get anything more, also, I'm not going to be depressed. But I am going to try and look for improvements. The big dreamer who consistently imagines a better world than the one they currently live in and turn their dreams into concrete goals. I had this young electrician who used to come on one of those tiny TVS mopeds, no, which you have to pedal half the time because the engine is too small. At the back of that little bike, he had put up a sticker saying, "My other vehicle is a Mercedes Benz." People used to read that and laugh. One day somebody asked him, "Hey dude, where is your Mercedes Benz?" He said, "It is parked in my mind." That is what hope is all about. Intense desire for change, not accepting things as they are. I'm not saying fight it out or get into conflict or something, but I always look forward to change. I anticipate change. I adapt myself to change, and I will not become too complacent. Approaches everything with a sense of curiosity, exploring, experimenting in an effort to make things better. How often do you do that? Please ask yourself this question. Except that life brings no guarantees, no matter how hopeful they are. If something good is happening, I have a very steady and nice job, there's no guarantee that the job will remain. If I have good health, there's no guarantee that my health will remain good. If I have good relationships, there's no guarantee that my relationships will continue to be good. Except that every experience has some form of value or benefit. This is something amazing. I'm sure many of you must have experienced this, that how a good comes out of a so-called bad experience. And that attitude keeps you hopeful. Tends to live in the present moment, at the same time visualizing a better future. Regularly builds on past successive and achievements. I'm not saying you should be proud or boastful or something, but acknowledge and say, yes, this is my success, this is my achievement, these are the steps that I've taken forward. And at the same time, focusing on being generous and giving. The more you give, the more you get. I mean, these are all cliched things I need not keep repeating, but it is a fact, it does happen. Consistently seeks out opportunities, help, and support. What's wrong in asking help and support from others? Never be shy. At the most, they will say no. Okay, thank you. I just asked. I don't have expectations. I asked you. You said, no, I'm not going to give it to you or I'm not going to help you. Fair enough. I'll move on to somebody else or I'll move on to some other alternative. Living with gratitude, I think, is very important. Develop that sense of gratitude for the smallest things that you have. If you get up in the morning and you are fortunate enough to be sitting with a nice hot cup of tea or coffee, express your gratitude not only to the person who gave you tea, but to the nature, to everything that conspired to ensure that you start your day with that lovely cup of coffee. They're thankful for what they have. That's part of gratitude. These are the qualities that ensure you always maintain a positive outlook on life, no matter how grim or dire the situation is. You're all aware that COVID has been a great equalizer. So many, things have happened, so many ups and downs. So many people have lost jobs, so many people have had financial problems, so many have had health problems, so many have had deaths, bereavements. Can we not use that as a means to learn certain lessons of life and at the same time look forward? There was a time when people were so scared to even step out of the house. They thought it's the end of the world, but the world doesn't end. That is the beauty of it. Whatever happens, the world still goes on. It is only those people who fear that something horrible will happen. I will die, I will do this, I will do that. They are the ones who suffer death 100 times, 1,000 times before they actually die. There is so much of stress and depression floating all over the place. Statistics say 30%, 50% of the people. I'm not interested in statistics, I'm interested in individual human beings. Do you feel the stress? Do you feel that depression? If yes, please do something about it. The other thing I have mentioned to you earlier, I'm repeating again, anxiety. Anxiety, as I told you, is interest paid on a loan which you have not taken. Never allow anxiety to overrule you. What will happen if this happens? What will happen if that happens? What if I fail? What if I have a setback? What will happen? Nothing will happen. Life will still go on. Okay, what will happen if I die? After that, all your worries are over. No, you don't have to worry about finance. You don't have to worry about health. You don't have to worry about relationships. Anyway, you are dead. Simple things. Sometimes so simple that people may laugh at what I'm saying, but I will not give up this habit of repeating and reminding people that this is what it is. As you know, human beings are social animals. That's the reason why, among the tips which I put on the slide, I mentioned give to others, interact with others. The more you see other people progressing, doing well, bouncing back after a setback, the more hopeful you will get. One of the easiest and simplest ways to understand how things are inevitable is to closely observe the change of seasons. Just now, we have shaken off the winter. We used to have these chill nights. We used to wear sweaters or we used to cover with blankets, and the summer has come in. By the time we start doing too much of that hush push and saying, oh, it's so hot and temperature has gone up to this and it is so bad, before you know it, the clouds will gather on the horizon and the rains will start. You will go on and on and on with months of rain. You remember last year, right up to November, how the rains kept on and on. Almost every day we had rains, at least in Bangalore city. Then what happens? You get fed up of the rains here. Every day it is raining, every day it is wet. And before you know it, the rains are over and the winter has started. The cycle goes on and on and on. The same thing with the cycle of life. All you need to do is to take care of yourself. And a few quick tips I shall give you about how to nurture, the hope in your life. And with that, we will be moving on to the second half. But I'm not logged into the chat box. I'm not seeing any messages. Okay. Because I enjoy seeing your comments. There are so many of them. Sorry, I missed out. So many. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopeful morning. That's a good one. Choti Si Asha, good morning. Good morning, Tim Banjara. Roshan says, had several bad experiences and have come out a stronger person in spite of no emotional support from family and friends. DCS has been my support, and my getting understanding and loving friends have got the courage to carry on. Wonderful. These are the things which I really look forward to. Okay. So let's quickly have a look at these. Then we will move on to the second half, which, as you know, it consists of the your questions, your comments, and all. So here are some how to nurture greater hope. Introspect. List your successes, strengths, and resources. I mentioned that a few minutes back also. Do not be hesitant. Do not be too over modest to say, no, what have I done? What am I good at? Be proud of it. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to boast, as I said. You don't have to go about flaunting your skills or your achievements. But rightfully be proud that, yes, I can do this. I have achieved this. I have this skills or abilities. Develop your coping skills for hurdles. As I mentioned, hurdles will come, setbacks will come. It is inevitable. It is part of life. The more you develop your coping skills when things are going good, then when things go bad, you are ready to face them. Make a positive contribution to your environment. Your environment controls you, and you influence the environment. It is like you can't live in a very dirty locality and colony, and the road outside your house is dirty, and you say, I'll only clean up my house. It doesn't work that way. The filth, the stench, the whatever, diseases or whatever it is of these negative things outside, they come into your house. So make a positive contribution to your environment in whatever little ways you can. Increase trust in the higher power or reliable persons or yourself. The choice is entirely yours. There are people who have a very staunch faith in God, that whatever happens, God will take care of me. But here I want to remind you of something which has been with me for years since my childhood. My grandfather had told me a very nice proverb: trust in God, but tie up your camel first. What are you doing towards it? Don't expect God to take care of everything. Don't expect the higher power. Don't expect, your seniors, your elders, your gurus to take care of it. So that's why the third one: increase your trust not only in the higher power and in reliable persons, but also in your own self. Surround yourself with positive people. We are such a social animal, we get so influenced by what others say. You surround yourself with smiling people, you will find yourself smiling more and more. You surround yourself with these doomsday prophets. No, 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 everything will go bad. This will happen, that will happen. Before you know it, you will also start thinking that way. Keep looking for positive people and spend more and more time with them. Focus on the things that empower you. What are the things that make me stronger? What are the things by which my resilience increases? What are the things by which I can develop my inner strength? Constantly keep looking for that. Visualize, fantasize. I mentioned right in the beginning, Dil hai chota sa, choti si asha. Jump around, become childlike, fantasize. There are no limits. A child's world has no limits. The child can say, I will go to not only to the moon, I'll go to the sun also. I'll go anywhere. I'll fly. I will roam around. It is possible, and you can think in that attitude. And lastly, explore different alternatives. Think outside the box. Look at this man, how he is stuck inside the box. He doesn't know what's happening in the outside world. But I want you to think outside the box. Always have that exploratory mind where you start looking at different options and different things. Yes, Yasmin's BMW is part of mind, and I'm sure she'll give us a ride one fine day. And Chandrika says, much needed topic as far as I think it affects all of us, Chandrika. The only difference is that there are good people like you who are aware of it, and there are people who are not aware of it. Namrata said, I'm learning, keep learning. It's a continuous thing. Surekha has a nice question. How effective is passive hope? Hope without any plan of action? No. I have mentioned in the points, if you recall the slide, we'll put it up in the end once I finish so that you can again have a glimpse at it. Work towards it. Do not be complacent. Do not accept that this is my fate, this is my karma. I will always continue, getting negative things or suffering all my life. If you have that, and Surekha, it's not necessary that you should actually have a plan of action, as long as you have that attitude towards developing action. I want to do something, I will do something, I will keep exploring. Maybe right now I don't have a plan of action, it doesn't matter. But as long as I'm aware that I need a plan of action, that is more than enough. And that is how life takes you forward. That is how life takes me also forward. And things which I enjoy thoroughly is whenever I'm having a session like this, to take a 1 minute break and enjoy my cup of tea. So here you are, just for a minute. Sonal is going to update you on what's happening, and I shall be back.
Hi. Wow, it was so wonderful to listen on building hope. And whenever there is hope, I always think children are the one who have so much of hope in them, and sometimes it becomes difficult to understand and handle them. And that reminds me that we are coming up with a wonderful course which helps you in understanding children till the age, till they are becoming adolescents. So, certificate in child and adolescent. It's a 4-month online course. There is no theory, no exam. So, you can imagine what and how it will be conducted. Yeah, and there will be mentoring in small groups where you will be discussing it out, what you have learned, what you have experienced. A lot of activities will be given. You will be told to go apply and come back and discuss it out in the group. That's how it will be. And the methodology is you will be accessing the lessons through our learning method system, LMS, on our website. And that's how you will see each video separately. And that's how the lessons will be presented. And there will be notes also. But no theory, no exam. Isn't it something different? Yes. And it is starting from this 26th of March. So if you wish to know what it is all about and then you want to enroll also, you're welcome. And if you're sure that, yes, I would want to know how children's world is, you can still call up the numbers given there on the poster and speak to either Seema or Anis, and they will help you out in enrolling and taking and we program for children, young adults, and the blossoms is for little ones. Full experiential 10 days program for children. It's a camp. We call it as a summer camp because a lot of activities is done purely to help children understand life skills and build up in the real life. We may say, yeah, I know life skills and I can part my life skills to my children. You may be a wonderful trainer by yourself, or you may be a wonderful life skills follower by yourself, but sometimes it doesn't work with your own children. And that's where, when some third person is coming in and pitching in and helping out, it can be as simple as that. Nowadays, he's just throwing a lot of tantrums. I'm unable to understand. Summer camp will help you. Like that, so many aspects of different life skills. Summer camp, our youngs and blossoms can help you. And Meera, who has been, a wonderful trainer, is going to take a lead of this program. So get going. Welcome back to Banjara in any form with anyone. Thank you.
Okay, I now come to the more interesting aspect of this program, that is to hear from you people what is happening in your life, what are your attitudes, what are your questions, doubts, and your inputs. Definitely that is something which really helps at every stage. What happens is, for example, what Surekha had said, I'll extend that a little more. When we say passive hope, I actually do not believe that hope is active or passive. Hope is hope. The moment I say that I believe that life can be better, and interestingly, that life will be better. That's why I said that trust or that hope, be it in a higher power like God or somebody, be it in a guru, be it in your elders who teach you about life, be it in yourself. But whatever it is, I do have this hope that yes, things will improve. I have gratitude for what I've achieved. I am proud of what I can do and what I've achieved. At the same time, I'm not complacent. Now, when that happens, you slowly start building this plan of action, as Rekha rightly said. It can be a minor thing. It can be a minute thing to start with. When we say plan of action, it sounds a little, you know, bombastic, that plan of action or something. Plan of action can be that tomorrow morning I'm going to go for a walk instead of sitting around, early morning. Not that the summer has come and things are a little open and all that early morning. I'd rather go into the fresh air and take a walk and come back. Even such things are plan of action. And when I go and I am amidst nature and I enjoy that nature, my hope builds up. As I told you, nature has so much to teach us in terms of what happens in life, what can happen in life. Just see the crops. The crop grows, the farmer comes in, chops off the crop. It looks like a tragedy for a minute, but before you know it, the crop has been taken away, the ground has been plowed, again seeds have been put in, and another fresh plant is coming up. The cycle keeps repeating itself. And that is what happens if you have that positive bent of mind. Yes, Satyavati says some inputs for those who are going through illness of any kind or health issues. Yes, Satyavati. Basically, what I believe in is it's not the cause that you need to look into, it is your response to the cause. One person may be going through a very serious health issue, an illness. One person may be going through an equally important financial setback or financial challenge. A third person may be going through very, very difficult relationship challenges. What I believe in is that it does not make a difference. So, if going back to what Satyavati said about health issues, yes, I have severe health issues, or my family members have severe health issues. But again, the same thing, how I connect to hope, how I connect to a belief that things will be good, including, let's say I have somebody in the family who's got terminal illness and that person doesn't survive. Person goes through very painful time and passes away. Is that the end of the world? Can I have an attitude where I, instead of mourning the death of that person, I cherish the fact that that person came into my life? That is something that we forget. That is what the gratitude is all about. That when we get something positive and that eventually gets over and expires, why can we not have this attitude of celebrating it? I have done it. That's why I'm sharing with you. I'm not trying to be very proud, but I have lost some people who are extremely dear to me. But I make it a point to always remember the positive aspects. I ask myself a simple question. If I had never known this person, or if I had never had a relationship with this person, I wouldn't be mourning, right? I wouldn't be grieving over the death of that person. So, if some genie comes and gives me a magic wand and says, you can replay your life, rewind and replay, and eliminate this person from your life, this person never came into your life, would you like it? And the answer is always no. I would cherish, I would want the good memories of that person. And that again builds up hope. When this person could have come in my life in some form or the other, some other happiness, some other joy, some other good human being, some other good relationship can come into it. Mr. Ranuja says living with COVID was all about hope, as we were not sure how things would crop up with regard to job, relationship. Yes, that's the fact. Those who went through COVID with hope are the ones who survived. There is so much to talk about it. I won't go into the theory or the history about it, but time and again it has been proven that people who have lived through the worst of situations with hope are the ones who have survived. What about if you realize suddenly that you were hopeful for something which was wrong, like a false hope? Yeah, this is a very interesting one. It depends on what exactly do you call as hope. If there is a student giving an exam and that student says, I hope I will get 90%, and the student doesn't get it, it can shatter the hope. That is why I always say, when you want to build up hope, don't put exact parameters into it. Say, I will improve my performance. Say, I will do better in this exam which I'm giving than the previous exam that I have done. I will score better. Once you do that, it's very unlikely that you will face disappointment. Sureka says, how can we be anchored in hope if there's no alternative available and the person feels trapped? See, the point is, person feels trapped does not necessarily mean that the person is trapped. You see the difference? Again, go back to those childhood stories where that, tiger was caught in that snare, and that rat came and offered and said, I will chew through this and I will let you go. Even that rat can be a source of hope to a giant tiger. How many such tiny hopes are all around you? Are you willing to take it? Is the question. Divya says, good morning, Ali. Before DCS, I was always thinking what I want and what I don't want. But after DCS, I've started introspecting that too. After institution visit, internship, I'm ever grateful. And I also acknowledge that I'm blessed and feel happy. The best choice of life is I did is doing DCS. The empowering is really happening in my life, and I'm able to change in my introspection, and also happy to acknowledge. Thank you, and thank you very much for acknowledging this, Divya. This is all unsolicited, compliment or positivity. It goes to build up hope in the person concerned. It is not that we are looking for praise for DCS or Banjara or anything. It is the person concerned whose life improves and moves on. And hope can come from anywhere. Yes, Gayatri, hope needs to be realistic too. If it doesn't take you anywhere, then we need to adjust our goals and reset our hopes. That's the reason why I was just telling you. A person who is getting 50% marks says, I must get 90% in the exam. That may be unrealistic because the person somehow may not be capable of scoring 90% marks. But if the person says, I'm going to significantly improve my scores, I'm going to do a lot of learning through this process. I may not get 90%, I may not even get 60%, but I am going to be improving my learning and my knowledge by studying for this exam. And I will be a better equipped person. Even that, do we acknowledge? Or are we only stuck with, did I get 62% or 94% or whatever? So that is what we talk about as realistic and unrealistic. Okay. It was a hope for the better relationship. It was a hope that I will now be not be abused anymore. So what's your input in it? Yes, as I told you, trust in God, but tie up your camel first. Now I am being abused, and I'm hoping that I will not be abused anymore. But am I tying up my camel? Am I doing something to protect myself from this abuse? If I don't do that, I cannot sit and keep grumbling over my fate or my karma or the whole world is bad and all that. You all heard of that story, that there was one tsunami coming in a coastal town, and the government gave radio messages telling all the people in that town, please vacate and go to the higher thing. Everybody was rushing. There was a priest. He said, God will protect me. I don't need to run away just because some water is coming or some flood is coming. God will protect me. God will take care of me. The villagers came running and said, come on, we'll help you. We'll come with us. No, 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 no. You carry on if you want to. I'm not coming, he said. He stayed back. The water started coming. As the water came, people came and said, now the water is coming. It will rise above your level. Do something. He said, no, 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 no. God will protect me. He went and sat on top of the roof of the church or temple. He said, God will protect me. You people carry on. After some time, a boat came. The last of the people were going in a boat. They said, come, 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 jump into the boat. We'll save you. We'll go. Who are you to save me? God will save me. God is my protector. I've always had faith in God. And they went away. Then the Indian Air Force sent a helicopter to see if there were any people left behind, stranded. And that helicopter came close. They shouted from there, we are throwing down one ladder, grab onto it and we'll take you to safety. Water is rising. He said, no, I don't need you guys. God will protect me. Go. And then what happened? The water rose and this man got drowned, died, and landed in front of God. Very angry. God, I have given whole life to you. I have served you. I have been your priest. I have done so much. And why did you forsake me? If you had stood by me, everybody's faith in God would have improved, isn't it? You let me down. God smiled and said, I didn't forsake you. 4 times I tried to save you. First was by the radio broadcast. Second was by the people who came running and were willing to pull you up. Third by the boat. And fourth by the helicopter. Who do you think sent all that? I sent it. You refused. So if you refuse, there's nothing else that I can do. This is one lesson that we have to learn. You know. Okay, Roshan says a childlike attitude helps me to be happy and grateful for whatever I have. At the moment, I'm living in a small one-room apartment in Bangalore where everything is comfortable. People walking in also will not leave the place without laughing. I've decided to stay here permanently as this is the happiest place to be. I'm hopeful of getting the right job at the right place. Yes, exactly. There's a struggle. You may not get the in inverted commas right job, but you may get a nice, interesting job. You may get a fulfilling job. The same thing when people say, I'm looking for Mr. Right or Miss Right, then only I'll marry. It doesn't happen that way. That is what we meant by saying, sometimes your expectations and your hopes should be realistic. Farida says, my son Ryan gave me a good insight once when he said, always try to filter our expectations from hope. They are two different things. 100% right, Farida. Hats off to your son Ryan. Convey my congratulations to him that if I have unrealistic expectations, my relative or my best friend will help me and pull me out of this bad thing. Or so and so will give me a job, so and so will give me a loan, so and so will give me a promotion, so and so will make me happy. It doesn't work. So filter out, he has used the right word, filter your expectations away from your hope. Yasmin says, DCS helped me open up and accept my flaws and achievement in the right spirit. And I'm back to believing in myself and my purpose, and I'm able to take balanced steps towards it. Thank you very much, Yasmin. And for those of you who are not Banjarites and who are participating in this, please understand that whatever these people are saying are not sponsored statements. We are not asking them to come and keep praising DCS or Banjara in this platform. These are very spontaneous statements that are coming in. In fact, sometimes I get a little embarrassed when they keep on praising so much, but I also feel proud that people are progressing and we are in some way being the conduit or the liaison towards this progress. Divya says, now I have hope that I can nurture my future being independent, which I have hope of building my career and working, which helps me build confidence, build self-esteem, autonomy, being self-dependent as far as possible. Take help from people. Don't feel shy to ask somebody to assist you, to teach you, to hold your hand and take you forward. But at the same time, go on and on and on learning how to build up an autonomy whereby even if nobody is there to help you, even if everybody goes against you or just leaves you alone, you will still be able to move ahead entirely on your own strength. And the interesting thing is, the more autonomous you become, the more you start depending only on yourself, the more people come to you. People actually come to these people. It is like how they say in the banking sector, no? That if you have a lot of money, the bank wants to give you a loan. When you don't have money, the bank doesn't want to touch you. Same thing happens in relationships. When you say, thank you, I don't need your help. I'm independent. I'm happy. I'm hopeful. Even if things are going bad now, even if I'm suffering, it doesn't matter. I know one day good days will come and I'm working towards those good days. I will keep struggling. It may take time. It may take a lot of effort. It may not happen also to the extent that I am hoping. Because again, as I said, I'm not setting hopes in terms of I should get 90% marks or something. Same thing about life. I'm looking for something better. I am hopeful that I will be able to get it. And it is not the destination which is important, it is the journey which is important. See, hope improves the journey of your life. The more hopeful you are, the more you enjoy this journey called life. The day to day situations that you are in, you learn to cherish. That's why we started with that cute little song, Dil hai chota sa, choti si asha. Small little hopes for tiny little things, and connect it up to nature. I keep coming back to that, including One of the greatest blessings that nature has given us is children. Please spend more and more time with children. Teach them how to deal with life, teach them basic life skills just by interacting with them, allowing them to ask questions, making them talk about their ambitions, their aspirations, their desires in life, and encouraging them to take their life in their own control and to keep striving towards betterment. Now, this is not a purely altruistic task. This is not charity that you're giving to the children. The more you spend time with them and you see how hopeful they are, you will be able to understand that, yes, I can also be hopeful. Dr. Shireen had sent me some very nice material about how people seem to think that as your age increases, life becomes tougher and more negative and all that. A lot of research has shown that people who cross over what we normally refer to as senior citizen, no, after 60, 65, whatever number you want to give it, there are two categories of people. One is those who become pessimistic, negative, and start thinking, oh, my life is over. Now what will happen? I may fall sick. I will be dependent on others. Life is going to be very bad for me. The more they start thinking that way, the more they psych themselves into believing that that is what is going to happen. And as that old proverb goes, the universe conspires to give you what you are thinking. You actually find life getting very, very negative. But the research says there are a lot of people who start thinking positively. I am now free of all the other bonds. There's this student of mine who lost her husband. Children have grown up and flown out of the nest. Children are not very deeply attached to her. They are in their own world and their own lives, and they are far away from her. She has got a little bit of savings here and there. And she says, now I'm coming to the stage where after my retirement, I want to travel. I want to be amidst nature. When I say travel, I'm not saying travel to New York or Africa or Tokyo or something. I'll go nearby places. I've got friends who stay 100, 200 miles away. I've got friends in villages. I've got people in hill stations. I just want to travel and see those little things about life, which is not going to be very expensive. But now I have the time. So a person who would otherwise say, I'm so lonely, I don't have a partner, my children have left me and gone, my parents are dead, one can become very, very pessimistic and negative in such a situation, right? But here is this person who's actually started planning. She said, never in my life did I think that I will be able to freely travel with no restriction. Earlier, even if I went for a vacation, I would say 2-day vacation, 5-day vacation, 1-day vacation, and I have to come back. No, that's not what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go places where it doesn't cost me a lot of money. I'm going to go there, and if I feel happy, I'm going to keep extending it, maybe indefinitely for whatever period of time. Maybe I'll enjoy something. This is the type of hope that gives you. Not that I want to have a big bungalow on a hill station with these facilities or something. Then it may become unrealistic. You may not get what you are looking at. Yes. Sunita has put up about this TED talk, which talks about how older people are happier. Now, as an extension to this thing that Laura Constantine says to you, please remember I've also told you that there are two categories of older people. And which category you are going to belong to depends on what you are planning right now. Whether you are 18 or 80, it does not make a difference. If you are 18 or 28 or 48, start planning, start visualizing, start fantasizing. Look at what are the good things that will happen to you. Look at what is going to be a better place. There was this 90-year-old man, somebody asked him, what is the one advantage you feel of being of this age? He said, no peer pressure. Everybody's dead. I'm 95 years old. So some of these things is what makes a person live on hope. And when it comes to these things, It is more, as I said, the hope of enjoying the journey rather than the hope of achieving some concrete, inputs or rewards. I want to have a big house in a gated community and with 4 bedrooms and this and that, and I want to have 2 cars and a chauffeur and all that. I don't know whether you will get it. If you get it, I'm very happy for you. But in case you don't, what will happen? So, in what way am I enjoying my life right now? I don't have the money to build a big bungalow. I don't know how long it will take and whether I will eventually build or not. But right now, can I go for a vacation somewhere where I experience more luxurious or casual life? No cooking, no sweeping, no taking care of everything. Everybody takes care of these things. And I lead a little luxurious life for a few days and I come back. And those memories can last you a very long time, provided you have that right attitude of life. Even let us take a simple thing of this last message which Divya has put up. Thank you, Ali, Seema, Sunita, Sonal, for the wonderful session on your valuable time. Now, by saying that, on the one side, Divya is making us feel humbled and making us feel nice and making us feel like reciprocating to her. But equally important is the fact that Divya's frame of mind, her positive mental attitude improves because she says that I am thanking ABC for this wonderful session or for the valuable time. So I'm part of that positivity which is happening, that somebody is working on something, somebody is talking, somebody is preparing this session, somebody is just sitting and watching this session and enjoying it. We are all travelers in the same boat. It does not make a difference whether I'm steering the boat or paddling it or running the engine or just sitting back and relaxing. We are all in the same boat of life and the same journey of life. And what is this thing called valuable time? As Divya said, please introspect on that also. What is this thing called time? Valuable time. See, Rajendra has got connected to us after a long time, and that's it. We are happy. We welcome you. We want to keep connected. For some reason, if it doesn't happen, also, I will have very good memories of my interactions with him. I will always cherish him. And I know maybe someday, if I have a need, I can always pick up the phone and call him up and say, hey, boss, can you please help me out in this, or can you do whatever? Small things like that. And that is what I'm saying. The journey with Team Banjara. There was a very nice old proverb which says, मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल मगर. Janibe manzil means towards my goal or towards my destination. मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल मगर लोग आते गए कारवान बनता गया. I decided to set off. I found a goal, I found a direction, and I set out on that journey. And people automatically started coming to me till the whole thing became a caravan. And all of us are enjoying that journey together. And that is what we are looking for in basic life. So with that, we come to the end, and Sunita will just tell you the topic for next week so that you can be mentally prepared. You can inform any friends who are interested to join us next week at 11 o'clock on Saturday. And she will also put back the slide just as a recap of the tips that I had given you earlier in the day. See you again next Saturday. Have a wonderful time and a wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye.